Hey everybody, welcome back to One Seed, One World. So we're coming to the end of summer. Well, actually, I guess it is the end of summer. We're actually into fall now since we're in the first week of October. And things are starting to kind of die out a little bit for the most part. I still have a ton of peppers coming on, although I haven't kept up with picking them here recently. And so a lot of the ones that I'm getting now are much smaller. If you want larger peppers, you're going to want to keep up with the picking, because if they keep putting off flowers and just kind of getting an overabundance of peppers, not only will it make your peppers potentially fall over, or your plants fall over, but your peppers will most likely be much smaller than ones that maybe you got earlier in the year when they were much larger. I still have a yellow squash plant that has survived, one that I planted later that I've picked the squash from today. We've gotten a few off of that. My tomatoes are sadly done. I had a short tomato season this year. The Dr. Weechi Yellow and the beefsteak hung on for quite a while. We actually just picked the last of those the other day, and we had a few small ones out there. But overall, the plants have pretty much died off at this point due to it was a mix of a lot of things. We had some really heavy dry spells, and then we got a bunch of rain. I hadn't properly pruned back, so some of them got kind of like a fungus or blight on them, and that killed off my Cherokee purples pretty early. I think I only got the Cherokee purples for about a month, so that was kind of sad. But you know, it's getting that time of year. So what type of successes and failures, or should I say successes and learning experiences, did you have this year? Did you have things that did really well? Did you have things that maybe didn't turn out the way that you were hoping or thought that they would? Put a comment down below. Let me know how your gardens went this year and what worked well for you and what you want to do differently next year. I had, a mix of all kinds of things, both successes and learning experiences, and a couple things that had me scratching my head. Like last year, I planted, every year I plant cucumbers, but last year I put them in a new spot. They did wonderfully, and I got bushels of them. I think I canned like 25 pints, plus I had tons for fresh eating and cucumber salads. We gave a bunch away. Then this year, planted them in the same spot. I only got enough for about 6 or 7 pints of pickles this year, and hardly any for fresh eating, and I don't even think I made a single cucumber salad this year. So I don't know what the difference was, other than we did have extremely hot, dry summer, so that probably had that was probably a big player in that. But most of my stuff is kind of done, or I'm kind of done with doing it. The main thing I'm picking now is my scarlet runner beans. As they're drying on the vine, I'm getting a lot of those. I've already picked a couple big pails of them that I have to shell, and then I have a ton more green ones on there that will still be drying out probably over the next month or so, that we'll be picking and getting a good load of those. If you have not grown scarlet runner beans before, you should definitely try it. They are awesome for growing over hoops, and they're a really pretty bean. They are a tasty bean. We put them in like ham and bean soup. We, instead of using kidney beans, we use the scarlet runner beans in chili. There's just all kinds of things that you can do with them, and they look really cool. And they put off all those pretty orange blossoms throughout the whole season that the hummingbirds love and bumblebees love them. So they're great for pollinators, and they're a nice addition to your garden. It's time to switch out my cover here on my hoop bed from the general row cover to plastic. I don't really have anything in here right now, but I need to see if I can get some late kale in here. The earlier kale that I planted out in one of my other beds, unfortunately, didn't make it. And again, that was my fault. It did sprout, and the week that it sprouted, we got a huge amount of heat where it was like near 100 degrees every day, super dry, and I didn't water it. So it all died. And I've been meaning to come out here and plant more kale in this raised bed, and just haven't got to it. Got some leftover dead leaves of cabbage that I had planted that I gotta get cleared out of here, along with a few weeds. But I want to get this bed cleared out so that I can try and get some kale in here. Hopefully it will sprout and survive. I'll keep up with the watering this time before the real cold weather sets in, which this has been a beautiful week. 80s, like low 80s every day. And like 50s at night. It's been really great weather, but coming up here on Monday, it's supposed to drop down into low 60s during the day and then be like in the 40s at night. So I don't know if that is going to be warm enough to get them started. Now, you know, things like kale and Swiss chard will do great in cold weather, but it's better to get them established first. You know, you have to have the warmth first to get them germinated. And then they kind of like the cool weather and even a little bit of frost once they get going. But I'm racing the clock now, so I'm hoping that by switching off, taking off this row cover and putting the plastic over, that I'll build up some heat in here and keep the soil nice and warm to get them germinated and get them going, even though the weather is going to be getting cooler here over the next few days. Is this what your tomatoes look like? That's kind of what mine look like. I really need to clean this bed out. I've been holding off on it because I do have a yellow jacket's nest just on the other side of this bed. But hopefully it's about done and moved out, but I don't want to get myself stung because I still see a lot of yellow jackets coming in and out over there. So I think I will maybe wait a little bit longer. I do have some nice bell peppers that have turned red in here, and I will pick those today as well. These are good and firm. Ooh, got some damage there on the stems. Looks like maybe some kind of bug damage, something ate into it and it was trying to heal up. But the peppers themselves are not huge, but nice. Good for maybe some small stuffed peppers. Still have some eggplant hanging on. These ping tongue is the variety. And let me get these out of here. This one's actually getting a little overdone. They're better if they're picked a little smaller, but these are more forgiving. If you saw my video earlier this year on eggplant varieties, these hold up better even if you pick them late sometimes. I definitely need to plant less eggplant and peppers next year. I always plant too many of those two things. We did do a little roadside stand this year, one weekend when we had a bunch of extra stuff. And I found that peppers and eggplants aren't huge sellers. I did sell a few, but compared to the piles that we had, most people skipped over that kind of stuff and went for things like tomatoes or cucamelons. And even we sold some of our blue potatoes and a couple of squash, but nothing huge. I mean, I think our whole big take was $60 whole that we made for sitting out there underneath the Easy Up by the road for 2 full days. But it's stuff that would have gone to waste anyway. It probably would have ended up in the compost pile because it was more than we could eat. We got to meet some new people and new neighbors we hadn't met before that came by and bought some stuff, so that was pretty cool. And we would have been just sitting around the yard anyway, so I think that it was worth it and got $60 out of it. So win-win. All right, my good people, that's fall in the garden so far. Sitting out here next to an awapui plant. We have a few of these growing around, the 2 big ones here in pots, and then a few that were stuck on the ground around. These are more grown, I think, in Hawaii. They're also called the shampoo plant because you can make shampoo out of them or something. I don't know. My wife knows more about them than I do. But we wanted to try growing them. These two in the pots did really well, except for they're supposed to get like these great big crazy flowers on them, and we didn't get any. So we're gonna move these inside and see if we can't keep them going over the winter time and see maybe what happens with that. And maybe I'll be able to do a video on that next year. But I hope you guys have had a fantastic gardening season this year, and hopefully it's still going on for you. Maybe you're still getting stuff, or maybe you're, you know, live farther south than I do and have a lot more gardening to do before the year's over. But I hope you're getting some good harvest and that everything is going fantastic in your neck of the woods. But I appreciate that you're hanging out with me again today, checking out another video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and put your comments and likes and hit the bell and all that stuff that they tell you to do when you're, you know, doing YouTube stuff. So thanks again all. We will see you again soon. Got other videos coming up, I should say real quick, on hopefully stringing and drying peppers and melting bees comb to get beeswax. And as long as those videos come out okay, they'll be coming up over the next couple weeks. So we'll see you again soon. Have a great day. Namaste.